Now, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived, in fact, in the last few moments in London. He's paying a visit today to Britain, to France and to Italy as well, as part of a whirlwind tour of European leaders aimed at securing aid ahead of those pivotal US elections next month. Warnings from many that Ukraine is facing its toughest winter yet as Russia launches fresh waves of strikes on the country's power grid and advances slowly across the eastern front line. Well, let's cross then straight to London. We're going to talk to our correspondent Benedict Pavio, who joins us from there. Benedict, Zelensky's visit comes, doesn't it, just after the UK announced new sanctions against Russia? I mean, he's likely to get a very favourable hearing there, at least, isn't he?
It's very clear. The United Kingdom has been at the forefront of helping Ukraine since the war that was supposed to be that 3-day military operation, remember that, by Russia. So that support has come in very many ways. One of them consistently has been sanctions against Russia. And you're absolutely right. There were sanctions imposed only 48 hours ago on Russian troops by the United Kingdom, saying that those troops were involved in using chemical weapons on the battlefield in Ukraine, accusing Moscow of, quote, cruel and inhumane tactics. Among those sanctions were the radiological, chemical and biological defense troops of the Russian Federation and its leader, Igor Kirillov. That was clearly stated in a British government statement. And then it was added to by the Foreign Minister, the Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, quote, the UK will not sit idly by whilst Russian President Vladimir Putin and his mafia state ride roughshod over international law. Now, it's important to say that Russian state news agency TASS then cited Moscow's embassy here in London as saying the accusations that Russia had used chemical weapons were, quote, groundless.
Benedict, Zelensky's visit also coming after, of course, the head of British security services gave a very stark warning that Russia has been on a mission to generate, as he put it, sustained mayhem on British and European streets.
Yes, so it's not a surprise that he would make some strong remarks about Russia. But in these stark, strong terms, that is unprecedented. So Russia has been on a mission to generate, quote, sustained mayhem on British and European streets, said the head of MI5. In this, it has to be said, annual update on security threats faced by the UK, Ken McCallum said Russia's intelligence agency, GRU agents, had carried out what he said were arson, sabotage, and more dangerous actions conducted with increasing recklessness, he said, in Britain after the UK backed Ukraine in its war with Russia. Hence, also, to underline this interesting visit by Mr. Zelensky. And in a wide-ranging speech, he then said, I still quote him, the first 20 years of my career here were crammed full of terrorist threats. We now face those alongside state-backed assassination and sabotage plots. He's there clearly referring to Russia. He also referred to Iran in that, against the backdrop of a major European land war. Of course, the Russian accusation is to do the Ukraine war. And he added the UK's leading role in supporting Ukraine means we loom large in the fevered imagination of Putin's regime, and further acts of aggression on UK soil should be expected. So a very stark warning. And again, to underline, both former Conservative Prime Ministers Boris Johnson and then his successor Rishi Sunak were very strongly supporting, both with visits there, visits from Zelensky here, and now the new Labour Prime Minister Keir Starmer very much, clearly, strongly, publicly backing President Zelensky and supporting them in what is viewed very clearly as a major war of aggression on a sovereign state.